Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video is about which are the top 5 Esper I would recommend for you to actually prioritize of getting their Reso to R6, because the previous video I already made the top 5 R0, I also made the top 5 R2. I'm not going to make the top 5 R4 because I'll instantly skip until top 5 R6, because if you are building after you hit R2, the major changes usually are going for R6. Okay, so this video here will not be covering the Shimmer Esper. There's a lot of Shimmer Esper that are very good at R6. We're not going to cover that. We're not going to cover Momo, Slon, Sujie, and Yamato as well, because their way to getting them is a bit more special because it's they are limited Esper. Right, so we're not going to talk about them, and then we are just more focusing on those Esper that we can get through normal method. And the first Esper going to be today is pretty obvious. It's going to be Sakura. So for those players who have been playing for quite some time, you might already know that Sakura is being one of the best R6 Esper in the game. Like she's one of the best healers, one of the best buffer, one of the best support in the game as well, and because of her defender role, she is also very good in the Wu team. It's still totally usable. The team is still one of the meta team, right? And she's gonna be very good in PvE and also PvP content. So if you don't have R6 Sakura, you might actually feel the difference in terms of damage output, like your teammates' damage output. If you compare with other players, let's say you have all the same Esper, same equipment, but they have a R6 Sakura while your Sakura is like R2, you will see the damage difference is a lot because of the resonance here. Because the R2 here, it doesn't really change too much. The R2 here is more towards into PvP. It will help you getting protected from control effect. But the main thing is her R4 and R6 effect. First thing, R4 effect here, when her HP is above 50%, ally attack plus allies damage plus 12%. This effect here applies to all your ally as long as HP is above 50%, which most of the time Sakura will have her HP above than 50% because she have like recover her HP back to 100%. She have a lot of self healing. She have a lot of Flora Barrel to stack, help her protect her getting hit. So she's gonna be always on 50% above, and then your ally will always have a free 12% damage output increase. Okay, and not just that, an R6 effect, every time an ally with Vigor Guard, which is the buff that you apply through your S1 or maybe S2 or maybe S3, depends on which skill. Sometimes some is single target, some is AoE target, and then whenever they actively cast their ability or they get attacked, which means you as long as enemy hit your ally or your ally take their action, they will increase their attack and defense by 5% and speed by 5. So up to 10 times, so you have a 50% attack bonus, 50% defense bonus, and 50 speed. This is so universal. A fighter will get benefit by the attack, defender will get benefit by the defense, and speed will get benefit by everyone. Everyone will get benefit by speed, including the support Esper as well. So R6 Sakura is one of my highest priority. I would recommend if Sakura banner really reruns and you actually miss Sakura banner, Sakura Reso is one of the best, and you have to actually get his Reso. Then the next one I'll be covering today is gonna be Elif. Alright, so Elif here is one of the best R6 Esper as well. Like, to be honest, at the beginning of the game, I actually underestimate her. But until the moment when we make her R6 and then we realize that how strong she is. She's actually a better Yun Chuan based on the passive, right? So if we look at the R6 effect, R4 effect first, when element advantage damage by 50%, it doesn't really matter because most of the case when you're using Elif in Versatile Fantasy, it doesn't really matter too much because there's no element advantage. But this buff here will benefit through your PvP content. Like, yes, PvP content. Like, everyone thought that Elif is just going to be very good in PvE, which she is very good in PvE, like meta good in PvE. But in PvP, I actually using her at my team 2 now. Her damage is like very high, right? And then if you hit the Esper that have elemental advantage, you also get some bonus damage. So overall, I would actually rate her. She's meta in PvE and pretty good, or kind of lower than meta, but in PvP. It's actually very strong, very pain as well. And R6 here, when Lion Stance is active, which is the buff that you'll get at the start of the combat, right? Then she will perform an assist attack with her S1 when an ally attacks. So this is a better Yun Chuan's passive. Like, why am I saying it's better than Yuntran's passive? So if we take a look at Yuntran's passive, there's a condition for him to actually call in the assist, which is have to apply the third eye seal on that target, and then when you hit the target who have third eye seal, then he will cast an assist damage from his passive that deals 16% attack that ignores defense. Right, but if we take a look at Elif here, if you make her R6, and she have to be R6, as long as she's in this stance, then she'll always perform with Lion's Roar. Lion's Roar is her S1, and S1 here is a total of 120% damage that also applies Seer. She doesn't ignore defense unlike Yuntran 1, but her damage multiplier is higher, and she also applies Seer, and she doesn't need a third eye seal debuff on that target. So she can also be being used in Desolate Land, like this kind of bosses that doesn't land debuff, doesn't get debuff, and her damage is very high. And then in PvP, her R3, S3 here also very pain, especially this one here for PvE. When the target is a boss, it will dispel all the buffers, so it's one of the best for Dark Starlord as well, and also lands defend down. So she have defend down, she have Seer, and she have a very unique buff which is Fur Fall. The Fur Fall here will increase the target damage taken as well. So she's one of the best PvE meta Esper, and a very good fighter Esper in PvP as well. But she have to be R6 to be usable. And if you have an elite R6, your Andras can speedrun. You can speedrun APAP. You can deal ridiculously high damage at all 3 Falsetto Fantasy bosses, and also the Desolate Land bosses that you can use Elif in, the Inferno one. Right, so that's the next one I will be recommending. The third one for today is going to be Liam. Okay, so maybe you wonder like why Liam? Like Liam is like a support or like a supporter or buffer or something like that, right? But if the moment you make him to R6, and until Liam released until now, he's still being one of the best defender DPS in Sonica. Right, in Sonica we did compare before, like with R6 Liam comparing with like other like Wu Yu, like Rancy, Yishu, all those other defender or even Fushi as well that is fighting in Sonica. Right, but Liam here, his damage is just too good to actually get replaced. Like no one can out DPS what he can do in Sonica. And if you actually care in Falsetto Fantasy, Sonica might be one of the scoring team that actually limiting you to get high percentage. And when you get Liam R6, then you skyrocket your Sonica team and you have an easier time for your Falsetto Fantasy ranking reward. Okay, because of here, when I have ability on cooldown, increase his speed. Speed is very important for him. He will keep rotating his skill. And then R6 here, when he have Heaven buff, which is the buff he provide by himself, and then he will perform Pursuit attack after his S1. So basically his S1 here will hit total of 4 times. So 4 hits of slashes, and then this 4 hit here will also heal your ally as well. So if you actually have an R6 Liam, your Sonica in PvE for Falsetto Fantasy is going to skyrocket by very high. He can be usable in Chronos, but it's not the best unit, but he can be usable. And if you have an R6 Liam in PvP, he is also a pretty good unit to pick for, especially in triple threats and knockout as well, which you will need a lot team. Liam is being one of the best support DPS, healer, buffer, and assist supporter. So I also very highly recommend you guys to get Liam if you really care about Falsetto Fantasy score. Like if you have an R6 Liam or without a R6 Liam, you will see a very big difference in terms of the Sonica DPS output. Alright, then the next one is going to be Lian. Just now it's Liam, now it's Lian. So Lian here, our Bubble Girl, is still being one of the best healer and shield Esper as well. He's on par with Sakura, but they work totally different. Like Sakura is more like a damage output buffer, and then healer and what's that called? Control immunity. These 3 things. And Lian here is being a shield Esper because she provides a lot of shield, provides healing, provides revive, and most unique is the miss rate up. Okay, so she also provides a lot of different things. At first that Sakura came out, we thought that R6 Lian will get replaced, but actually no, they are doing a different thing, and R6 Lian is still being one of the meta Esper as well. She's more towards into PvP if you really want to compare with the other Esper that I go through this video. She's more towards into PvP, And if you have her R6, you have a very easier time in your team. Overall, your team survivability will increase like very high. It's even better than Sakura because Sakura have to take an action first, but R6 lane doesn't need to take an action because at the start of the combat she'll instantly have this dream bubble at the start, and R4 here increase your shield strength, so you have a thicker shield as well. And she in PvE she's just usually used in Andras for a very safe team. You can use R6 lane, and then for Versatile Fantasy, if you don't really have a good healer, she can replace. But if you really want to cover like PvE and PvP, Sakura is a better choice. But because of how unique she is and how strong she is in PvP, I will also recommend Lien getting R6 as fast as possible. You'll really see a big difference as well. Then the last Esper for today is going to be Embla. So Embla R6, like why Embla R6? Like R2, she already showed her power, right? The R2 video I already say that Embla is being one of the best R2 Esper as well. Like why do we even need to push until R6? Yes, she kind of fell off after since like 1 year above already, like Embla being the best DPS, right? Yes, she fell off because Slon kind of replaced her slot now, right? So but Slon is being a limited Esper. Not everyone have Slon, and assuming you don't have Slon, if you really want to have a very good DPS Esper in PvE, Embla is still one of your best choice. Not to mention that elemental advantage damage increase. This is good for PvP, but you need Fushi. And then R6 effect here, the corrupted seed here, usually you need 8 stack to trigger, which means you need to hit 8 punches on the corrupted seed Esper, then you can only explode the stack. But R6 effect here will reduce the stack to 5. So every time you want to trigger the corrupted seed effect, you only need 5 hit in turn compared to 8 hit, which means your DPS output it will fasten a lot more damage output, rotate a lot skill as well. Like corrupted seed here, the more you trigger, Embla will get more AP push, because Embla will get 30% AP push when corrupted seed are removed. So the faster you proc the seed, the faster the damage Embla can deal, and the faster Embla can rotate her turn, because every time it trigger, you get a 30% AP. Like maybe you debate that cause we have Slot now, we have like Suje, how is her performance in PvP, right? So let me show you my team in Versatile Fantasy. Let's say Sonica here, I'm still using Embla at my second team. I'm not using Slot. My Dark Starlock team here, where is it? This one here. I'm using Embla at my team 1 now. And then Probator, I'm still using Embla at my team 2. So yes, Slon appear actually make Embla no longer the best DPS in the game. And Elif show as well. Like Elif and Slon make Embla no longer the best DPS in the game, but she's still being one of the best debuffer DPS, because she applies bleed, she applies corrupted seed, she applies disease, and she's easy to play. Right, cause all she needs to do is apply the corrupted seed, and then you trigger the seed, explode, that's all. Yeah, so I would also very highly recommend Embla R6 as well. So if I have to replay the whole game, and which 5 Esper I will try to get their R6 as fast as possible, I will say these 5 Esper: Sakura, Elif, Liem, Embla, and Lien is my 5 pick. Right, so you can feel free to comment down what you guys think about it, which R6 is your favorite as well. I know there's a lot of R6 Esper that's very good, but overall I think these 5 Esper covers the most content in the game and really the most impactful for the content in the game as well. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Gen MP, Yakishiba Tales, Kemi, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Code Wardeners, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwops, Rimu, Chorny, Von Hexa, Antonio Winterspoon, Marlene Williams, Eric Mendes, Ium Cragrin, Riku Fred X Iris, Calamity, Rocco Stenzions, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest tag. Thank you so much for Code Wardeners, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Chorny. Thank you so much for your support.